Thanks for joining today's Blockdaemon Roundtable. In today's episode, we will be discussing the importance of liquidity and counterparty risk, two especially pertinent topics given the events of the last few months in crypto. Alongside, I will be hosting Jonas Pfannschmidt, head of R&D from Blockdaemon, Kirill Kutakov-Co-Founder of Stakewise, and Thomas Restout, CEO in EMEA for B2C2. I hope you enjoy. Thanks all for joining us for this last video in the Liquid Staking and Portara series. Thomas, we talked a little bit about, institutional grade liquidity. Can we expand upon that, what it means to provide truly robust liquidity and the importance of that to institutions and a solution like this?
Of course. Maybe I'll start by describing what we deem to be good liquidity offering. And here, I'll talk about three criteria that I think are necessary for client adoption. One, we need cheap transaction cost. What does that mean? That means a tight bid offer. For those who are unclear, bid offer is the difference between the price to buy and the price to sell at any given time. If it's zero, it means there is no transaction cost. Cheap transaction cost, that means tight bid offer. The second thing you need a stable and available liquidity. That means you need a tight bid offer at all time. And finally, you need the depth of liquidity. What does that mean? You need the liquidity to be available for a meaningful side. If I give you liquidity for 1/10 of an ETH, it's not going to be useful for institutional clients who actually need large liquidity. So what does that mean? Depth of liquidity, you need a tight bid offer at all time and for a meaningful size. This is what you need for client adoption.
Yeah, great. And in the context of a lot of what we've seen in the past few months, reliable liquidity is key. Similarly, mitigating against counterparty risk is critical. Kirill, can you talk a bit about that and how Portara solves for it?
Sure. I think one of the core advantages of Portara is the fact that the system is non-custodial, which means that unlike with an exchange where you need to deposit money into an account that is controlled by an exchange, you don't actually need to do this with Portara. What happens is you interact with smart contracts that have been heavily audited as well as externally verified by different customers of ours that clearly delineate the flow of capital in the system. And in such a way, we actually prevent this capital ever being touched by humans and from this capital being, let's say, manually released at any moment of time. So that is one big, let's say, piece of safety that we can offer to our clientele. And of course, there's also QIC that is end-to-end, allowing our customers to be to have a peace of mind about whether anybody in the system is exchanging capital with sanctioned entities. This basically cannot happen thanks to the whitelist that we have embedded into the token that controls all of the transactions with it. And by doing so, there's always, let's say, a controlled sandbox in which our clients play. I do think that these two are the critical pieces in making sure that the product is safe to use even in the current environment.
And so, architecturally, counterparty risk is mitigated in the manners you just described, Kirill, but ultimately there are still service providers in this ecosystem. For example, Blockdaemon providing validator services and B2C2 liquidity services. Jonas, can you touch on what the various risk mitigation mechanisms that Blockdaemon takes, and similarly B2C2 around providing liquidity?
So in Blockdaemon, we've been doing this for quite a while now. We've been running blockchain nodes since 2017, staking validators since 2018, and in recent years, since the emergence of various liquid staking solutions, we supported a lot of different solutions like that. So we have the experience and the expertise to do this on a professional level. Couple of examples are, for example, we are ISO 27001 certified for our security processes. We've been the first staking provider to offer slashing insurance to our customers. We have 24/7 engineering teams supporting our platform. We run nodes in multiple clouds and physical data centers across the world for regional redundancy and failover processes.
So I think first and foremost, when it comes to risk management, I'd like to underline the choice of partners. We've built our reputations over years at B2C2, and it was key that we find someone with similar USP, quality of service on one side, but also reputation, controls and policies that are of a high standard. Obviously, this is where we run path with Blockdaemon. A few words on B2C2. We're still the largest OTC liquidity provider, and that's the only activity that we do. No dispersion, we don't do mining, we don't do anything else than liquidity provision. We've created unique distribution channel, a unique franchise, which gives us a unique liquidity source as a differentiator. Global presence, of course, and when it comes to risk mitigation, it's important to say we've been there for 8 years, probably one of the longest standing market makers. We talked to a few things. One, our risk management capabilities, and two, the resilience of the business model. We were there yesterday, we will be there tomorrow.
Really, really critical at a time like this as well. That kind of, risk first mentality from all three participants here. Just parting words, anyone on the topic. It's been a really interesting overall series, but I'll leave that open-ended.
Maybe I'd like to go first and to say how excited and proud we are to actually support the development of the ecosystem. We're going to leverage our cutting-edge liquidity provision capabilities, but we've been particularly impressed and proud to partner with the best possible validator operator that we could find. I have no doubt that this one will be the best staking and liquidity solution an institutional customer could be looking for.
Yeah, so with Stakewise, we like products that, let's say, they don't meet the customer halfway, but rather they meet the customer at their door. And we're always there to meet all of their needs. And because of this, we're super excited about Partara, since it really fits the box for all of the things that the institutional customer could be looking for. There's end-to-end KYC protection. There is a non-custodial product that does not create a counterparty risk in terms of capital control by one party, the service provider. And of course, there is ample liquidity that is being facilitated by B2C2. There's a strong infrastructure in place run by Blockdaemon, and collectively we are in a very good spot to give the customer the best staking experience, liquid staking experience in the institutional market.
Yeah, I'm super excited about Partara. I think it provides a much needed alternative to existing liquid staking solutions, particularly tailored towards institutional customers. And I do really believe that within this group with B2C2 and Stakewise, we have the best in class of companies and the most experience to build this kind of product.
And just some parting words from me, really interesting, insightful topics and discussions. We're all here because we fundamentally believe in liquid staking and staking more broadly. We believe that the Shanghai hard fork will be the catalyst for even more adoption across many L1s, and that liquid staking is likely the future of where much of staking will live in, going forward. Beyond that, from an institutional perspective, products have not existed that meet their needs from an overall security and compliance perspective. And that's where Partara with Stakewise providing battle-tested infrastructure from a technical perspective, Blockdaemon on top of that, institutional grade node infrastructure, and B2C2's institutional grade liquidity services, really provide the full stack of what it means to have a robust solution for institutions of many different cohorts. And with that, we hope you really appreciated this series, and we look forward to working with you.